Hey guys, in today's video, me working on this 2007 Suzuki 115. I'm already doing a full service on this motor, but in today's video I'm going to show you guys how to do the water pump on one of these Suzuki 4-strokes. If you guys have been liking the videos, please drop a like down below and comment, and please subscribe. Have a lot more videos in the future for you guys. We're doing on this pretty nice Sea Fox boat here, you can see here. But what we're going to do is obviously we're going to shift the engine to forward and trim it up the motor so we can get to the lower unit and service this. So let's get into that. Let's trim it up and let's get ready to pull this lower unit off. So we just unlocked the motor into forward so we can put it back into the power head when we go to reassemble easily. Now on this motor, there's going to be 3 bolts on each side to drop the lower unit. Now on this motor, you don't have to worry about the shift. The shifter will just come right out, but you do have to worry about the speedo. We're going to disconnect that from the lower unit. Located just under here, underneath this anode, you're going to remove this anode. There's going to be a really big long bolt located underneath the anode as well. So let's go ahead and drop this lower unit and service water pump. So the first thing we're going to do is pull the anode off. So we're going to remove that with a ratchet. I believe it was a 10 mil or 12 mil socket. So we're just going to loosen this up. And once you get the anode all the way out, you'll see there's going to be a bolt located underneath. You can see here, you got the anode out and the bolt. Then located just under here is a 14 mil bolt that you're going to pull out as well.
Yeah, for what they charge a month?
Like I say, you should be able to pull out a big bolt looking like this out of the lower unit then. Last thing that we got to do is just remove the 3 bolts on each side. So there's going to be 6 bolts and the lower unit's going to drop. So let's go ahead and remove all these bolts and drop the lower unit.
Which one?
Okay, so what we're going to have to do is disconnect the speedo line here. Just use a pair of needle nose and pop off that speedo line to disconnect it. But like I say, you don't have to worry about the shifter. The shifter will just automatically come out because it's blind. Okay guys, so we got the lower unit off. So the next thing we're going to do is obviously do the water pump. But just so you guys know, this collar isn't supposed to come out. This sits basically on the other side of the motor. I'll show you guys how that goes back in then. But basically what we're going to do is get it up on the stand, open up the water pump, and replace it. Okay, so we got our lower unit in the jig. So this collar, if it basically is not supposed to fall out, but if you ever hear loud squealing in your lower unit, it's usually this that fell down. But we're going to jump right into this water pump and get it all taken apart. So we got a lot of sand here, so we're just going to clean this all up with the new faceplate and gaskets and a new water pump. If you guys really want to, you can put grease on the woodruff key. I don't normally do it with this style because it usually holds, but if you want to, you can put a little grease there. But we're also going to put a little bit of grease on the faceplate as well. I like to use 2,4C, and when I do it, just use the tiniest pinch. It's just basically just to help the water pump slide on there easier and doesn't, dry start for the very first time. But we just put the tiniest bit and it'll be good. So on this water pump, it says that the keyway being on both sides, it can only go one way. So make sure you put it on with the keyway this way so the woodruff key locks it in. This guy's housing is still pretty good shape. I'm just gonna clean it out, but I'm gonna change his O-ring because he put a lot of this glue on here. But we're gonna change out the O-ring and put it back in. Okay, so now that we're at this point, basically I'm going to show you guys how you push this on. So you're going to push down the housing, and you're going to spin the drive shaft clockwise. And since we have the gear case in forward, it's going to spin the prop shaft, and it's going to push down. So just push down the housing and spin the drive shaft clockwise, and it's going to sit down really easily. We also just want to make sure everything's sealed off and sitting flush. And like I said, when you spin the drive shaft, it should be spinning the prop shaft this way, clockwise, because we're forward. So the last things that we're going to do then is grease up some of the stuff, put all the bolts in, and get the lower unit installed. But I'm going to show you guys how to put this collar back in then. So I just put a little bit of 2,4C around the grommet or rubber piece, whatever you want to call this. It's like a guide basically. But basically once it's pushed up like that, um, which I'll show you guys what you have to do. Basically to push it up like this, again, put some grease around it so it slides in nice and easily. Once you get it pushed up in a good spot, everything's nice and flush. There is like a recess spot. It's kind of hard to show you guys, but you gotta get this wire in. It's kind of a pain in the butt. You can kind of see that little cutout right there at the bottom. It basically slides into there, and it'll lock that collar in place. So I'm gonna get it in place, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like at the end. Okay, so this is basically what it'll look like. I still have to get it a little pushed in. This thing is a kind of a pain in the butt to get in, just so don't get frustrated if it pops out for you guys. But that's basically what it's going to look like. Then we're going to be able to put the drive shaft, the lower unit back in and get it secured. Okay, so now we're ready to put the lower unit on. Just put some grease on the splines. Don't put on the very top. So you want to put on the splines of the drive shaft as well as the splines of the shift shaft to make it easier, especially where the collar is also going to sit on the drive shaft. But we're going to get the lower unit installed now and hopefully show you guys how to get it in. Sometimes it can be a little hard to show you guys that stuff. So we just got to put the drive shaft in right where that collar was, and then right behind it is the water tube. So you got to make sure the water tube hits in the water pump housing. Okay, now we got to this stage. You guys can see it can be a little pain to get these in. But we got one bolt started. I also just want to make sure it's still locked and forward, so then we know the shift cable or the shifter lined up with the splines. Also make sure you get that speedo connected. The speedo was kind of a pain in the butt. You had to do it like halfway while the loader unit was off. That's why second hands kind of helps. So we get these rest of these bolts in and get it installed, and then we'll test run the motor. Okay, so I just checked all the shifting. It shifts good. We're gonna hook up some water to it and fire it up.
It's sidewise.
Okay, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video today. If you guys liked the video, please drop a like down below and subscribe. And comment down below what you guys want to see, anything else. I'm going to have a lot more footage in the future. And thanks for watching.